Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the Level 1 Podcast. It is Friday, the 15th of March, 2024. We got a lot to discuss. We really do. Namely, what is going to happen here in this week, in the next couple of weeks, what the next major game is that I'm playing. The reason that we have to have this discussion today is because I feel like our train has gone off the rails. I really do feel that way. I feel like, sadly, as a result of many of the games that originally I was interested in and plan on playing not being so good and me skipping them. And then me playing some of the games that I was interested in, but sadly, they're so lengthy, it's impossible to get through them in a reasonable amount of time. We've been stuck in this endless Groundhog Day feeling of every day. It's the same stuff. It's another long RPG. It's another limitless, endless, never progressing game. And because of that, I feel like the variety has kind of stagnated here on the channel. This channel has stagnated. Views are down. Engagement is down. Contributions are down. Everything is down. Okay? And I can't just have that continue. The thing is, it's not like this is going to last forever, because we're in a situation where there are some exciting, interesting games coming out, not only in the next few weeks, but in the next few months. You know, looking long-term at stuff, you know, the Elden Ring DLC, you know, is going to get people excited to see me play that, among many other things coming out by the summer. But we're in March, okay? And the situation that I find myself in, and all of us find ourselves in on this channel every day, is, okay, it's time for stream number 37 of the same game that I've been playing for 7 months. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but, you know, it's going to be samey, same kind of stuff again. Same crowd will be here, which is fine. But at one point, will there be new exciting stuff going on? Oh, there's a new game coming out. Oh, guess what? Reports say it's terrible. Well, I'm not going to play it then. And then we wait. And I continue on with endless long games. And then the next game that comes out is another endless long RPG, right? And then I skip RPGs because I'm playing too many RPGs, and people complain that I skipped the RPGs, even though the RPGs that I'm playing, people are saying are too long and boring. So it's kind of like this endless cycle at this point. All right. Now, today was supposed to be a big opportunity for variety here on DSP Gaming. Why? Because yesterday the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection released. And this is a collection of 2 games from the 2000s that are well-regarded, well-respected, games that everyone absolutely loves. And EA tried to recreate this lightning in a bottle back in the 2010s and failed miserably. The 2 Battlefront games that they made in the 2010s don't hold a candle to the originals. They've lost that fun spirit of what they're supposed to be in exchange for, like, experience and leveling systems and randomized pulls and drops. And it's just really, really weird what they went there, because I think they wanted to make these microtransaction games as a service games, and it didn't work. Okay? So, with this collection coming out and everyone excited, wow, the originals are coming back, people got pumped, and now it came out, and apparently it's a huge flop because it's just a broken mess. You know, I guess on PC it came out Wednesday night, and no one could play. People turned on their PCs, opened Steam, booted the game, and it said there were no servers. Like, how are there no servers for an online game? Apparently, their entire infrastructure crashed when they hit the switch to turn it on. So you had like 10,000 people trying to play on 3 working servers that each house 64 players. Do you know what happens when you have 10,000 people trying to join about 180 slots? It's not a good situation. Let's put it that way. Okay? Now, from what I'm to understand, it's been getting better over the course of the last 48 hours or so. It is improving, and the console experience apparently hasn't been as bad as the PC experience. But the problem is, first impressions are everything. And if your first impression on the internet of this game is, wow, it's a broken mess, nothing works, it's buggy, it crashes, you have to wait to get into servers endlessly, you drop from servers, it's, you know, lag. If that's what everyone heard, that's all anyone's going to think about the game or care. So I hate to say it, this game is kind of dead because it got destroyed within the first 12 hours of being on Steam, and now everyone just has turned it into the laughing, running meme and joke of the internet the last couple of days. Of course, I bought it early. You know, I bought it ahead of time and preloaded it. So I'm stuck with it. I bought it. And luckily for me, I did buy it on PlayStation. So hopefully I'm going to have at least a decent player base to play it with. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how it's going to work. I've even heard they basically didn't even bother adding in a modernized system to jump into multiplayer, that it's literally the same system that you used to have on PC like 20 plus years ago, where you boot up the game and it gives you a server listing and you have to manually select and try to join servers to play. And that in itself could be very hit or miss. It might not work, or it could, you get errors and crashing. So just to get into a game could be a nightmare. I've also heard that Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 are completely separated, instead of being in one system where you just select like, oh, what's the server with the spots or whatever. No, it basically separated the experiences completely. So now you got like, everyone's jumping in Battlefront 2, but no one's playing Battlefront 1, because obviously you want to play the more modernized game. But now because of that, everyone's got a Battlefront 1 with like no one playing it. So you can't play it online because like there's not enough people. So what the fuck? You bought 2 games in a collection, and one of them essentially is unplayable. Gee, that was smart, wasn't it? Again, this is the equivalent of like when I bought the Capcom collection last year, and there were like 4 versions of Darkstalkers in it, and they were all separate. Well, no one's going to know what version to boot, so every time you go to play online, you got like 2 people playing, and you can't even find them in the matches. Why did they do that for? So anyway, I really don't know what to do. I've bought this already. I have it loaded. I just downloaded a 17 gig update patch for it, because that's the day 1 patch, because the game's so fucked up. It's essentially like half the size of the game re-downloaded and trying to fix it. We're playing it today. I mean, you guys were so hyped for it. You convinced me to play it all day today. Like, this was my whole day. And now we don't even know if it's going to work when I boot it up. So we're going to try. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, well, let's just throw it away and not play it. We're going to try. But if it doesn't work, I don't even know what we got. We're going to call an audible, right? We have to do something else. And I don't like doing that, because calling an audible means that half the people who would have been there for whatever I'm doing in place of what originally we were going to do, they're not there. Like, for example, let's say we boot this up and within an hour I give up. I can't play it. It's unplayable. All right, fuck it. Let's just go play Baldur's Gate, right? Well, guess what? Most of the people who are here for Baldur's Gate are not going to be here today, because they didn't know that I was playing Baldur's Gate. So now you got a different crowd, a crowd that wasn't ready for Baldur's Gate, probably not the same engaging, supportive crowd as usual, and people are upset because now, oh, I missed on Baldur's Gate. I didn't know you were playing it today. Yeah, well, I didn't either, right? And so that's a problem. So I guess we have to see what happens, okay? I hope it works. I want to play this game. That was the whole point, is that I wanted to play something different, to bring something completely so different from everything else we're doing with these RPGs. So we have variety, so it's fun, and I think this would be a fun thing to play and to watch. It's an exciting game. It really is. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What can I do, right? I guess we'll find out. So anyway, see what I mean? Like, I have all these plans. I'm like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this for variety. We're going to do this. It always kind of bites me in the ass, it seems. I can't seem to get out of this rut of everything's an RPG, everything's lengthy. So, here's the deal. Yesterday was my day off, all right? And I had a day to kind of sit back. I had some errands to run. My wife and I did a bunch of stuff around the house. But for the most part, I had time to sit back and just think about everything going on right now. And I'm looking at the channel, and here's the truth. The throwback channel is doing good. It's got more views, more engagement. It's starting to garner some support. The throwback channel is getting healthier and better. I'm like, wow, this is excellent. The React channel is doing all right. It's about where it's always been. So no complaints there. But the DSP gaming channel is way down. No exaggeration. I'm down hundreds of thousands of views. I'm down engagement. I'm down a ton of support this month. And I'm like, I know what, right? Because we're playing the same goddamn games and they're never ending. And this is driving me nuts. And I'm thinking about everything I'm doing right now. I'm like, I'm in the home stretch of Baldur's Gate 3. But people are saying, oh, you still have to do this mission for this character, 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 this mission for this character. Then you got to get into the end game where you have to do this, 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 and this. But if you do this, then you can skip this. But then you maybe do this, and then don't forget this if you want to see the full story of this. And then this, 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 this. Then you make your big choice. Then it's the end. So then there's this, 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 and this. And then the game ends. What the fuck? So when does it end? Does it ever end? Huh? Then I'm playing Like a Dragon. And the good news is we've had major, major progress in Like a Dragon the last couple of streams. We got out of the rut of being stuck in certain chapters, and the story is turboing, barreling forward. All right, and that's good. I've actually been told that if I just focus on story progress in Like a Dragon Infinite Well, I'll probably beat it in like a week. Like, seriously, if I played it like 5 streams, I could beat it if I just do story. And I'm debating doing that. Because at this point, even though I love Like a Dragon, even though this is the swan song for the Kazuma Kiryu character, I can't have the same games going on forever. We're almost 50 hours into that playthrough. By now, you should be finishing the game, right? It's like, what is going on right now with all this shit? And by the way, to everyone contributing, thank you. You know I shout out contributions at the end of the podcast, and I will do that today. I got to get out of this. I got to talk about my subject matter first, and then we'll get to all that, all right? Thank you so much, because people are being very supportive right now in the chat. Thank you so much. Okay. So all that's going on. Oh, by the way, did you remember I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Does anyone even remember that? It came out 2 weeks ago, and I was very hyped for it at launch, and within one stream, no one cared. Seriously, I played the one stream, and then everyone's like, meh, it's another RPG. And I'm like, seriously? Like, people were so hyped and asking me to play this for so long. And now, because of the climate of the games, I fully believe it's not the game. Because the game is good. I feel it's because there's just too many other fucking RPGs. And it killed the hype for the game. What can you explain otherwise why sales for the game are lower than Final Fantasy 16's? But people loved Remake, but everyone was hyped and anticipated for this game, right? I mean, everywhere, games media, the freaking social media, everyone. So why are the sales down? Because it's called being tired. It's called stagnation. It's called oversaturating the market. It's too much of the same in a short period of time. Even people who love these games are like, it's too much. It's too much RPGs, okay? So, what are we going to do? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, all right? I've had enough. I've reached my limit. Really, I have. At this point, it's like a question of, are these games playing me, or am I playing the games? And I've really reached my wit's end, all right? Starting today, I'm grabbing the bull by the horns. I'm grabbing the ogre by his giant swollen ball sack, and I'm going to speed bag it like Rocky, all right? This is it. Now, it's serious fucking business, because I'm not playing these same fucking games another 2 months. I'm not going to be caught up in endless fucking playthroughs. I want to play a variety of games. I want to play what I want to play. Really, the straw that broke the camel's back for me, excuse me. Yesterday, I'm off from work, and I'm reading all of the comments on my videos, all right, and I'm approving them, and I see a pattern. There's a few people who are now leaving comments that are like, you've made a horrible decision, because next week, my choice, remember, there's 2 games coming out next week, Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2, correct? Now, I outright told you guys, I was not going to play Dragon's Dogma 2 because I cannot play another lengthy RPG when I'm playing too many other lengthy RPGs. I just can't do it. How would I do it, right? Instead, I was going to play Rise of the Ronin. And, you know, the early previews have come out for Rise of the Ronin. In general, most people are favorably looking at it, saying it's a hybrid of Assassin's Creed, Sekiro, and Dark Souls. It's a unique open world that's kind of fun. It is kind of Team Ninja-esque, because a lot of Team Ninja tropes and things in it, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty good game, right? So, I settled that's what I want to play. In fact, in truth, this is the absolute truth. If I had my absolute choice of games to play, I would be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 this coming week. I'm serious. I loved Dragon's Dogma 1 over a decade ago. I thought it was a unique game from Capcom, who I didn't know back then for making RPGs. Little did I know Monster Hunter, right, which is so popular. But back then, I didn't even know about that franchise. So when Dragon's Dogma came out, it pleasantly surprised me. And I really was hyped for Dragon's Dogma 2. I wanted to play it. I was stoked to play it. And then what happened is I got caught up in all of this insane amount of RPGs. And it's like, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, it refuses to end. I'm playing Like a Dragon, it refuses to make progress. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and no one gives a shit. Really. Rebirth, no one's showing up to the streams. It's very low attendance. very low engagement and very low support, right? At least in the case of Baldur's Gate 3, you can argue the interest in the playthrough has waned over time, but man, people support that game. They like it so much and they want to see me play it to completion that they're supporting every single stream. Final Fantasy VII, it's like it jumped off a cliff into the water, onto the narrow shoal rocks down there, and the body is all jarred and ripped apart. I don't know what happened. This is a game that everyone was pumped for, and now it's like no one gives a two shits about it at all, right? I'm bizarrely shocked because I thought people were gonna like it, really. So we have two major things to change and or figure out. Okay? The first is as follows, and this is absolutely 100% official because I've had enough. As of now, after today, because today we're already committed to trying to play Battlefront Collection, I am 100% committing to beating these goddamn RPGs as soon as fucking possible. I am not going to have Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon endlessly going on these channels. We are playing the fuck out of them until they're done. Okay? And even if that means we have to cut some corners and we have to skip some missions and not do side content, then so fucking be it. We're finishing these games as soon as humanly possible. I'm not going to be balancing 17, 18 games anymore. We are finishing this shit right now. You get it? So, that means tomorrow, Saturday, we're doing Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Now, Sunday is React Day. So, Sunday, we're still doing the React streams. That's not going to change. But then on Monday, it's Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I can't do a late stream on Monday because I have to do private patron videos and finish up my personal business stuff from behind the scenes that I have to do every year this time of year. But then on Tuesday, it is Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And then on Wednesday, it is Baldur's fucking Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. And we are going to get as far into these as possible this week. All right? We are going turbo fucking mode. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to boot the game up in Baldur's Gate. I'm going to pull out my staff, and I'm just going to bop everyone on the head in a row. Bonk, bonk the fuck out of my way, because I'm beating these goddamn quests right now. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And we're turboing through this shit. Okay? I really, 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 really had enough. We have to finish these games. Can you imagine if I was playing these games till like mid-April? I might as well just fucking pack it up and close down the channel. I might as well. Just say, fuck it. Why even bother? No one's going to come by anymore. Right? So that is that. That's this week. Now, here's the important thing, okay? We have to determine what's the new game that I'm playing next week. It's either going to be Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma 2. I can only play one new game, and no matter what it is, the game is going to be played on release day. And then we're going to change it up and go back to Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon until they are completed. And then we will go back to it. So we will have 1 day of launch day hype, all right, for whatever the game is that I choose to play next Friday, because it is next Friday that they both come out, correct? So then 1 day of that, and then we go back to the other ones, and we play them till they're fucking done. Okay? That is what I want to do. Because then, at the very fucking least, we will have closure to some of these ongoing playthroughs. The 120-hour game will probably end around hour 135, right? The 50-hour game will probably end around hour 55. We'll have the end. We'll say, okay, they're done. Now we can fully focus on new stuff, right? Because here's the thing. There's absolutely no way I can play any game right now and focus on it when I've got these lingering RPGs. They must be completed, all right? So that's the thing. We have to figure out what's the game that I should play next Friday. Now, again, if I had my choice, if I ultimately could just play whatever I wanted, I would play Dragon's Dogma 2. But I'm concerned because I'm getting feedback that I should play Dragon's Dogma 2. But I'm very concerned. We're getting out of RPGs. We're finishing 2. And now we're going to jump right into another one. Now, it is a very different style of RPG. This is an action-based RPG with different gameplay elements, right? But I am nervous it's not going to work. That it's going to be just like everything else. I buy the game, we play it 2 streams, and after 2 streams, people are tired of it. And they say, well, oh well. And they stop showing up. They stop engaging. They stop supporting. And I might as well never play the game. All right, I'm going to be honest with everyone. You guys have sadly been desensitized to streaming. You now think that every streamer should just play a hot new game for 2 streams and move on. And the reason that you believe that is because that's what the top streamers do, because they're all fickle. Because the reason that they're sitting here in front of you isn't to put out an entertaining broadcast, it's to print money. And because of that formula, everyone just believes that's the status quo. Okay? It's not. It's not how it's supposed to be. All right? People who actually care about games will fucking play them till completion. They don't just play a game when it's hot for 2 fucking streams and then drop it on its fucking head. But it seems like that's what's going on with tons of these people these days. They get a game because it's free. The publisher gives it to them for free so they can play it and not have to worry about money investment, right? They only play it for 2-3 streams while it's popular. And, oh, fuck that. I'm not playing it any further. They never see the end of a game. That's not who I am. That's never who I've been. I don't follow those trends. I don't do what it takes to become popular. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's not me. And it's never going to be me. I'm not going to change who I am to follow the trends of what the top streamers do just because they can get away with it because they're so popular. And it's sad because I think that the gaming industry is really, really faltering because of this. You can't retain interest in a game for more than a few days because every fucking person is on to the next game. If the game industry knew what was good for it, here's what it would do. Stop giving out copies to every top streamer and find 5 people who are going to stick with their game throughout the entirety of the game and actually showcase the full game and how good it is and give them the copies and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Because then what will happen is people will stop with this bullshit of only hyping a game for 2 days and then dropping it. If you're putting on an 80-hour RPG, you don't want people only knowing about the first 4 hours. And that's what's happening right now, you know? Hold on one second. So yeah, you know, I'm genuinely upset because we're in a rut now, and I don't like being in a rut. I don't like being in a fucking rut, in a situation where we have all these games going, but no one's happy. You know what I mean? It's like they say, you can't please all the people all the time. Well, right now, the only people who are kind of happy right now are the Baldur's Gators, the Baldarians, right? Because I'm playing a lot of that game still, right? So, by the way, I'm just enough of these idiots. Goodbye. Every idiot who just wants to be contradictory in the chat, just say goodbye. Okay? Fucking idiot. Everyone has to just contradict everything I say, of course. So, that's the deal, is I need to put my foot down, and we have to make a big change here in order to get stuff going. Okay? Okay? I hope this is okay with you, because I know some people are going to be upset. They're going to be like, well, what happened to Final Fantasy VII? Well, what happened is people stopped watching it. That's what happened. People have completely stopped. When I play the game, it's like it's dead in here. People are falling asleep. Very few people are engaging. The support as well. Like, last time I played Final Fantasy VII, all the support came in during the podcast. As soon as I booted the game, nothing. That was it. It was dead. I might as well have been sitting here just staring at a camera like this for 3 hours. In fact, if I actually did that, I think it would have been more exciting to some people because people just don't care about the game, you know? And that's sad because I think it's a fine game. But why am I going to continue on with a game that there is literally no interest in? And that's what I'm getting out of my audience is I'm getting no interest in that game at all right now. Which is sad. I think they did a good job with it. I do agree that some of the side content in the open world is very repetitive, and I'm wondering, because we're only in the second side area. So if we get to the further side areas of the game, and basically it's all the same shit again, like the same exact, game loop again. The same enemying fights, one mini-boss, go to those energy pools, solve the summon touch pattern puzzle, which isn't even really a puzzle, it's just a time button push, like you're playing a Bomani game or whatever. It's all the same over and over and over. I don't even see the point of continuing, right? I feel like that's a game that maybe you just turbo through the story and fuck everything else, because what's the point? But I don't even know if you can do that, because I don't know if the game scales to your level or what, right? I don't know. But yeah, that just feels like that's the situation we're in right now. Is that no one cares about Final Fantasy. We're endlessly stuck in these other playthroughs. And, you know, we need to make a change. So what I need, FYI, is feedback of what we're playing on Friday of next week. And no matter what it is, we're going to do a premiere day of it. And then after that, it's going on hiatus until we finish these games. We must finish Baldur's Gate 3, and we absolutely must finish Like a Dragon. And we're going to work on it hardcore for the next 1 to 2 weeks until the games are done. And then we're going to come back and focus more on whatever other game we chose to play. Okay? Now, the thing is, this Battlefront collection is also a big question mark because it was going to be a part of the rotation. But sadly, I don't even know if it works, right? So if it doesn't work, then obviously it's not even a concern. But I guess we have to see what happens today. And if it works, and if it's a joke and it's broken and it doesn't work, then I guess we're not playing this anymore either. And I just fucking bought it, right? So this all, obviously, this is not the ideal. This is the necessary evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. Like, I have to do it this way. I don't like doing it this way. I would much rather be more paced, be more metered, play everything, balance everything. But sadly, it's not working. There's too many lengthy games. I don't think ever in my entire history of me being a YouTuber, and that's almost 16 years at this point, I don't think I've ever played this many ultra lengthy games at one time before. Ever. Never. You know, over 100 hours Baldur's Gate, roughly 60 to 80 hours Like a Dragon, and like 80 plus hours Final Fantasy VII. I've never played 3 games like that at one time before. They've never even come out at the same time before. And now we're faced with endless amounts of these games. And again, yes, some of the responsibility here has to be put onto these game developers and game publishers for all releasing their insanely lengthy RPGs within a 3-month period of time. That is suicide. And they've all done it. There is a distinct reason why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales numbers are much lower than what the company was expecting. They were expecting it to be a blockbuster blowout, their highest selling game of all time, and the game hasn't even sold as well as Final Fantasy 16, which by argument, you know, a lot of people criticized, said it wasn't that good. Why? Because there's too many fucking RPGs. You're not going to continuously have hits if they're all the same genre of game. It just can't happen. You can't release 20 summer blockbuster action movies back-to-back. You can't release 7 fighting games back-to-back, and you can't release 10 RPGs back-to-back. It doesn't work. But for some reason, they idiotically didn't look at the climate and anything around them. Instead, they just focused on making their games and just pumping them all out at the same time. It makes no sense. So now they're all cannibalizing each other, and we're seeing this in the industries. You see people talk about an RPG for 3 days, and then it's like the game doesn't exist. What happened, right? Like, no exaggeration, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, no one's talking about it anymore. And it just came out 2 weeks ago. You would have thought this would have been the game that it has legs that everyone's talking about nonstop. No, it's done. It's as if the game never came out. It was hyped for a few days. And then everyone just ran to the next thing that pumped out. Now everyone's talking about their hype for Dragon's Dogma 2 because the character creator came out for that, right? And now the controversy is about. This is what I mean. Like, there's no more focus on one game anymore. It's all for one day we talk about it and then we move on. You want to know why? I'm telling you right now, the fucking streamers. Because this is how they've become. They've become, talk about a game for one day just to get a boost in views and then move on to the next and then move on to the next. It's like, dude, that is so harmful to the industry. It really is. And I don't understand why no one gets this. That having this fucking ADD bouncing all over the place. Oh, this today. Nothing ever fucking gets done. Right? I don't know. Here's the thing. I feel like back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like 10, 15 years ago, of course. The game industry was so different because when a big game came out, that became everyone's focus for a couple of months. And everyone was talking about it. Everyone was excited for it. Everyone cared about it. And now it's like everyone just lives in their little bubbles. You know what it might be? It might be the dawn of the on-demand era as well. So for example, right now, let's say you want to watch a movie. Okay? It used to be back in the day, well, you go rent it. You go rent it from the video store or you buy the DVD. Today, it's like, well, what streaming service is it on? Is it on Hulu? Is it on Netflix? Is it on Paramount Plus? Is it on, what's the other one? The other one that starts with a P. Peacock, right? Is it on Max? Is it on Amazon Video? Is it on Apple fucking, video? What's it on, right? You don't even know. And you need to have 17 services in order to get any kind of entertainment now. And now the thing is, it used to be when a new show came out on TV, what would happen? That TV show would be broadcast nationally on prime time, 8 p.m. this Thursday, the hot new show. So everyone would watch it all simultaneously. And then there'd be talk about that show all over the world because it just aired and it was a hot new property, right? Today, because everything is on demand, instant gratification, but because it's all in its own channel, you don't get that feeling of, wow, it's a big worldwide event that everyone cares about anymore. And I think that's what's happening right now with video games, right? Everyone's kind of in their own lane. So the fighting game people are here, the RPG people are here, but then there's even subgenres of RPGs. There's the shooter people here, and they all just do their own thing, and there's no crossover. Instead, everyone's just in their own lane. So it used to be, you could be like a jack of all trades. You cover variety. You're interested in all these different genres. But now it's like, if you're not hyper-focused on the one genre, right? Then you just don't care about anything else, right? Like the fighting game community cares about Street Fighter 6 and its DLCs and Tekken, and that's it. The RPG community right now is kind of in shambles because there's so many different RPGs. So now they're even like siphoning out into different channels of what RPG styles you like, and then you follow that, right? Shooters are kind of all over the place right now because Call of Duty's in shambles. No one really even talks about it anymore. It's more about what's the new hype shooter that everyone's playing for like the next few weeks or whatever. And there's all these different ones from different studios and things, and they're all competing. There's the finals just had its fucking season 2, and I guess there was that game, or was it like Ready to Go or something like that? It has something to do with police or something. Who knows? People played it for 3 days and then they dropped it like it never existed, right? But this is how it is now. Like everyone is all over the place now. And there's no like, this is what's popular, let's talk about it. Instead, it's like we're all off in our own little corners of the room in these little cliques. And we're kind of like, oh, this is happy, this is good, this is good, this is good. But there's no crossover. There's no feeling of like, as gamers, this is what's good and let's enjoy it together. I don't think that's a good thing at all. I feel like we've lost that feeling of greater gaming, of big momentous releases, of big hype things. They don't exist anymore because all people care about is the day it comes out, you talk about it, and then you're on to the next day. And again, I do believe that's heavily influenced by the on-world streamer culture. I totally remember that shit. Yeah, I believe that shit because everyone's now got this ADD feeling. We're wired to think games are important for 2 days, and then you're out. What's the next one? And that's a horrible fucking thing to feel, right? I don't think anything should be like that at all. Okay. So anyway, that's why I got to put my foot down here. Now, some people are going to be upset and they're going to be like, so wait, there's no Final Fantasy VII anytime soon? No, there's not. I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again for a while. I'm not. I refuse to play it. No one's tuning into the streams as it is. So there's no point in continuing with that playthrough until I get to a time when maybe we can bring it back and it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to keep it dragging along while I have these other unfinished games, okay? So for this next week, the absolute focus is Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Let's finish them. We probably can't finish either in the next week, but if we just play those games nonstop, we'll make big progress, okay? And then this Friday, we have to figure out what we're doing. Is it going to be Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma 2? I'm okay with either. I really am. But we have to make a definitive decision, all right, on what it's going to be next. And then I'm going to play it on launch day, and then it's going to sit there and wait until we finish Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. We have to finish those two. When those are done, then we can go back and we can heavily focus on the new game, okay? And that's what I want to do. Whatever the new game is that I start playing on Friday, I want to heavily focus on it. Now, if this game works, Battlefront, which we're playing today, I would like to keep this in a rotation as an occasional multiplayer game. And you guys already asked me, am I playing the single player? And it's like, single player? I don't know where you think we're going to have time to do another single player campaign for anything at all. I just don't get that. That request is like, baffles me. People almost never demand single player of a shooter. And you're actually asking me if I'm going to do the single player of this one. It's like, listen, I'm not against doing that at all. I just don't see how I'm going to do it right now, but I'd like to maybe eventually do it. So if the game works and you guys like it, I would absolutely love to play more of this after we beat RPG Mania. Okay?